more what the team behind the CRM of Banca Intesa did in the past period. So thank you all for attending the presentation. Thanks to Data Science Conference for having me here. So to set the stage, literally, what we will talk about. And I guess that there are people in the audience working for the companies. They have a, let's say, large amount of customers that have, let's say, various products that they are selling and services, and also that have many channels to contact those customers, to offer them products, or to make them reach them out if they need any of the services of the products of your company, and that you can relate with this generic business model. So I would like you to have in mind a generic retail company. So that could be telco, that could be banking industry, that could be any retail that you have in mind. So this is the case that we will talk today about. The problem that we were trying to solve is what back in the days in the famous movie Ghostbusters, they used to say, who you gonna call if you want to sell something, if you want to contact someone, and why. So and that was basically the problem or the question. The answer is actually that you don't have to know who you're gonna call. You have to know who knows that. And basically, the CRM team, in this case, of Banca Intesa, was the one in charge to help out people who are selling the products in their efficiency and effectiveness. Basically, when we talk about that business model, it's pretty much simple. So either you call your customers, okay, and you sell your products, services. You have your logic behind that. You are expert in that. You know your customers. That's important phrase. Or the customers come to you, to your channels. So that could be branch, that could be shop, that could be e-commerce shop, and basically this is how the business goes in this environment, in this setup. So I don't know if those that I hope are in the audience who are working in this kind of setups know what is the share of the sales through outbound channels, so calling the customers, versus the other scenarios, customers coming to their shops, to their channels, or to go one step further, if, for instance, the outbound approach, so calling the customer, is the dominant, let's say, and you're good in that, what is the method? What is the logic behind that? Who you're gonna call, or who you call when you want to sell something, and why? How do you decide who to offer a certain product, given the budget, the time constraint, limited amount of hours, working hours, limited amount of tools, limited amount of ideas, creativity, sales skills, communication material, quality, etc., etc. So we have listed here the channels that we were using. You understand what we are talking about, and so to set the stage, back in 2017, we were not the company that was selling the products primarily through outbound channels, and we were not the bank that was selling based on. So this is the first important thing, and so we were primarily driven by other mechanisms, and I will elaborate that. Also, also the logic that we were using for those outbound campaigns, so the logic that was behind calling the customers, was dominantly driven by our sales force. So the people in the sales force, we call them relationship managers, salespeople, sales advisors, call it what you want in different industries, were actually one who were having the most, let's say, responsibility for reaching those goal sales budgets, KPIs, etc. And that was the setup. And that was the problem that was basically in front of us, and that had to be solved. The tools that we were using in CRM were commercial industrial tools. And basically, I must admit, not, let's say, tools in the trend and the, let's say, future-proof tools, methodologies, processes, etc., etc. So that was, again, the setup 5 years back. I think that I've listed several issues that we had to solve at the same time. So to change totally the approach, to evolve the methodologies, tools, processes, and to be much more effective in the sales. So everything basically to be resolved, improved. And we started one by one. On top of those issues, and it was great intro with education session before this one, we had to come into the domain of the programming, to be precise, to go into the Python world, to go to the open source tools, and to start learning while performing. And basically, we started one by one. So outbound campaigns, we started migrating all campaigns to Python-based machine learning models. And we started with some which were not crucial, but which were in production, making money. So basically, we migrated from those industrial tools to Python. And we had to basically develop for each and every campaign, even for the same products, for instance, loan. If it's the different loan, then we had to develop different campaign using, let's say, following the process, machine learning process from the scratch, developing and testing various algorithms. So to build up the model for the new campaign, for the new product or the same one. Primarily, our outbound campaigns are binary classification tasks, and we were using those models for solving these problems, and which are actually in the foundation of those campaigns. When we started with these so-called simple cases, we moved to another ones, and even the largest ones, or the dominant ones, the most critical campaigns, have been migrated. So if we talk about consumer customers, so private individuals, as we used to say, we have migrated all campaigns of Banca Intesa to machine learning-based campaigns. And you can see here various types of products and services both from consumer customer products to small business products. And because also the small businesses are part of our responsibility since we are in the retail division. So again, just to stress out, there was no replications, no same path using the same model for different case. So we had to develop new models for each and every campaign. The only so-called constant, which actually wasn't constant, and I will elaborate on that one later, were the data sets, data for developing the models, but we were addressing that as well. So going under the hub, we started with decision trees, and then we moved on. We have tested those algorithms for a classification, for targeting. Some of them are in production as we speak. Some of them we tested, evaluated, moved on. And some of those are in evaluation phase. So we stepped into the deep learning. We'll see how it goes. And I don't know, maybe there will be new conferences to keep you informed on that. Again, so just to remind you all these things were done in parallel. So developing real campaigns to real sales force, calling real customers, let's say, while going into the new area of data science. And it was a great journey, and of course it was challenging. When we talk about different kinds of those outbound campaigns, just to remind one of our rehearsals and campaigns that we managed to do. So our customers are visiting also the public website of Banca Intesa, and let's say the content of the public website of many companies is much richer than, for instance, content of the in-app, let's say, experience. When we talk about the products, information about the products, loan calculators, various things, and it is valuable source of customer behavior insight. So we actually had an idea. We developed this idea with a consulting company, and who were actually helping us in this stage of evolution, how to use this data to develop the outbound campaign, so to target certain customers with a certain behavior. And we did this. So we used several machine learning methods to basically come up with ratings. You probably know those kind of this logic from Netflix use case. So to develop the ratings of the customers and their inclination towards the products, which pages they visited, and also to develop the ratings of the other ones for the other products that they haven't visited, to compare and contrast those, and to target customers based on our business goal. So that was also, let's say, different approach that we had in the past. Inbound, let's say, campaigns or inbound sales. It's, let's say, huge impact on the business. Just imagine the e-commerce pages, the web pages of your companies, of other companies, mobile apps, and we had to address this as well. And as you can see, we had addressed this entirely for the consumer customer base. So we developed the next best product based on the machine learning algorithms. Actually, two separate stages of algorithms to segment first and then to target those customers. And this is recommender approach, where we developed the next best product. Actually, we developed two next best product options, MVP1 and MVP2, or next best offer, one and two, where the customer, when the customer actually comes to the inbound channel, whether it's branch or online, the, let's say, dedicated recommender-based product is ready for them. Also, let's say, equally important is for our sales force that they have ready-made offer, actually two, for the customer that they that pops up in front of them. He stays there for a few minutes and goes, and that's there is no, let's say, there is no chance, or the probability to come up with a better idea is very difficult, except they extremely know well that customer. And I would like to reflect on this use case when the customers come to your points of sales. So nowadays, the behavior of the customer is volatile. It changes a lot, and I will reflect that later. Also, the driving force of importance of this use case is the turnover of the sales force. And basically, the people are changing businesses, they're changing companies, and that advantage of the salespeople knowing their customer actually diminishes more and more. And the value of this assistance and this help and this logic and this engine is essential, I would say, in many businesses around the globe. So you can see that we basically covered for these business use cases pretty much entire product portfolio of the bank for the consumer customers. And we actually considered all products that the customer could get, of course, except the ones that they have already. This is why it's called the next best offer. So we were basically building up on the three crucial cornerstones. First of all, competence in machine learning. The second one is using that competence in developing algorithms and developing engines for campaigns. And the third one is enriching our customer database, or enriching data sets with the features that we consider important for targeting the customers. You can see here the main sources of the data that we are using from core banking system, CRM system itself. We have data from the digital channels, which are basically fundamental and I would say more and more important, and they will be definitely maybe the key differentiator in the future with regards to the amount and the quality of this data for the future purposes, future business cases. And we have external sources, and also we have this is the separate, let's say, data stream for transactional data of the paying cards. So it was also done in parallel with all the tasks that we had, driven by need to solve more and more complex business cases. And comparing to the 2017, now we have 8 times more features in our data sets. I'm referring to here to the consumer customers. So we are actually continuously developing these data sets, and we of course consider them as extremely valuable and critical for our further development. Okay, so I cannot reveal and disclose too much information, commercial information, but I have prepared some, and I believe that they're self-explanatory and saying enough what we have achieved with this evolution from the company where the sales force is the dominant driver and dominant logic and dominant, let's say, mechanism of selling the products, to the company where campaigns are the ones that are driving the most important product for our company, for our bank, which are the loans, so cash loans, no mortgages, non-mortgage loans. I would stay here for a while, explaining these simple graphs, and maybe little bit more story behind them. So, when we talk about these shares, I would like just to emphasize that it is not possible theoretically, but basically practically, to have 100%. So there will always be customer who comes to your point of sales asking for the product, and that's one thing. So the goals and the ceilings in this endeavor are not 100%. So that's practically impossible. That's one thing. So this is how we should read this data, which are not normalized, let's say. So the second thing I would like to stress behind the figures is that we have swapped banking core system during this time. I've been working 17 years in telco, and we have swapped core system 3 times. We have swapped, this is called the base station system, at least that many times. The downtime of those swaps is maximum half an hour. And I guess that other people from telco industry have the same experience. And when we discussed and we talked with the vendors of the core system, banking core system, they told us that usually people experience swap of the core system once in a lifetime, and that's maximum. And the swap has been prepared 3 years, etc., etc. So it's basically building. Why I'm talking this and why I'm emphasizing this, we were building the entire data sets from the scratch, at least the most critical data, which are from the core banking system, from the scratch. So doing this while performing. And I will not tell you in which year this was, because there is no evidence from these graphs. So no deterioration in these results. The second thing I would like to stress that is behind the figures is the COVID. And why I'm saying this, so as I said, our results and let's say our expertise is based on the customer behavior, and COVID dramatically actually impacted the behavior of the customers. So that was another thing that we had in mind, and that impacted also our tasks to rebuild models or critical models from the scratch again. So to address these issues. And so you know when the COVID was. This is something that I cannot hide. And you can see that there is no substantial impact on those results. Basically, which is more critical, the customer base is much larger. The consumer base, we doubled the results. So those results are basically from reports that I'm sending and I'm reporting. So that's the latest one that I prepared. So exactly those 2 graphs I'm reporting. And this is what we have achieved with those approaches and with those concepts and with this evolution of the business model. Okay, the second figures that I will use for bragging is what is the quality of our models. I just listed here and illustrated 3 different models for 3 different use cases. And I would focus, and I would like to have your attention on the first one for the personal loans. And this is the result of one model for one personal loan, which is, by the way, most important campaign in the bank. For the most important product, for the largest campaign in the bank. And this is the result from the latest, we call that a wave of campaign. So from the latest campaign on this product. What does it mean? It means that the conversion rate of our campaign, that I cannot reveal, is 7 times better than conversion rate that would be by random call, even from filtered out customers who are eligible for the product. So the salespeople or sales force, given their customer portfolio, if they start calling randomly out of 500 customers that are in their portfolio, they would have some conversion rate of successful sales compared to the calls. So the model actually has achieved 7 times better result. We control this with and measure this with, let's say, industry approach for evaluating models. We have control groups for each and every campaign, and we monitor the results, and we evaluate and self-assess ourselves, so not only us. Basically, this is the results that we have achieved. One thing more, so even during this year, we have broke the record of the sales of entire bank in few months. I mean, in a couple of months during the year, and each and every this month was also followed by the breaking the record in the conversion rate of those campaigns, which are most critical and most important, the largest ones. And if I guess you understand that the larger the campaign, the lower the conversion rate we can expect, because you include also the customers with the lower propensities, with lower probabilities. So the message that I wanted to convey is that I didn't want to come up with some esoteric examples. So this is the most important campaign in the bank that we have. Okay, I'll continue now how we more with the process, how we did it, what were the bottlenecks, what were the critical let's say phases, what are the critical elements in the journey. So this is the slide that we are presenting, exactly this one, to the sales when we discuss the campaign, either the same campaign that is that we are planning to develop, or we come up with some testing results of the model, or we discussing the results. Maybe the content of the slide is stating obvious, but I deliberately wanted to show you how we approached other people in the company, showing them what we are doing, and this is I would say critical at the beginning of this journey, to have other people understanding what we are doing, how we are doing this. They are also curious, and we know that you like more things that you know. With regards to critical elements, the critical activities and for the CRM. And our value proposition is to basically propel the effectiveness and efficiency, to sell right products and to sell them right, to discuss and convince others in the organization with not with an opinion, with the data, to talk the business language. The second part of the and the critical part of the CRM is the operational team, who is actually implementing campaigns, who are actually following the entire life cycle of the campaign, who is main interface toward the other organizational parts and the sales network. And we have to continuously develop the knowledge, the expertise to attend data science conferences, for instance, and to come up with the business ideas, how we can use our expertise in propelling the business. I have listed here the critical points and the critical activities of others for the sales to change the mindset of themselves from I know what to sell, I know my customers, to basically the customer behavior is what they want, not what I think what they want, to actually cascade this mindset shift throughout the network, sales network, for marketing to be more agile in the communication, more quality, to lift the sales with their communication materials, for IT to support us in coming up with the new data, for maintaining the hardware, for improving the processing and storages, and for top management to support, to believe in this, and to support us in this idea. Challenges. In the early phase, we, by the way, solved them all. But this is just for you who are entering this journey, that you should expect, let's say, lack of confidence in the basically launching campaigns based on the machine learning. You will have not enough data. You will have to communicate and explain to the others what you're doing, how can you improve. And then once you improve, you have to know how to communicate that you improved something, and that is because of your contribution. And the other one in mature phase is basically to handle the excessive load of requests for data campaigns, for campaigns based on the machine learning. To basically have too many clients in the campaigns, and to solve the issues related to the processing power and hardware issues and processing power. Shortly, there is a trade-off. When should you outsource, do something with external partners, outsource companies, and when should you do things in-house? The data science teams and are here to stay. They are part of the business organization. They are driving the business. So this is the long-term solution for transition from phase to phase. When you reach the challenges, and you will always, from time to time, hit the wall, you need expertise of others, of consultants, of external companies. And then, on a project basis, I would say is advisable to come up with this cooperation and collaboration. So for the end, 5 years ago, we attended first data science conference, and we were really enlightened and inspired that sometime we come up with our use cases and with our results. And I hope that we inspired at least some of you to come up with your ideas and your breakthroughs in the upcoming data science conferences. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, Miroslav. We are well into another time slot, so there won't be time for questions. So I will ask you to ask Miroslav directly what you wanted to ask him.
Thanks for that. Thank you all.